anyway, this is where we finally take the attack on Yulmor, and holy shit, I think we're probably going to go into more detail in this entire sequence than any other thing, because Jesus Christ, so much happens, and all of it is incredible.
Yeah.
I think probably the first part to start is before the attack on Gate Town. So, essentially, Vor3 has control over Sinit. Like, complete control. He'll do whatever they want. And you remember we mentioned the meal earlier, the weird bread that he was handing out? So, essentially, this is Ishtola, because of her 8th vision, realizes something awful about the mail. It's made out of Sin Eaters. It's made out of ground-up Sin Eaters. Yep. Because Vor3 has been feeding it to everyone in the town, they've been very slowly becoming part Sin Eater. And everyone cast your mind back to Talessa. That's what Vor3's doing to his entire fucking city.
Also, another cutscene happened where the Crystal Exarch actually went to Vor3 to negotiate after all the Light Warden defeat, and the Exarch used basically a holograph illusion to click Vor3, where we found out Vor3 has mind control magic over Sin Eaters.
Because Vor3 tried to take control of the Exarch because
yeah.
This is Vor3. Do you really think he's gonna
Exarch pissed him off.
Oh yeah, the Exarch made him.
Yeah,
I think the Exarch made him even more angry than Alphino.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is a specific thing, by the way. Not only has he been trying to hunt us down because with worries of like hunting the Light Warden, he's specifically trying to hunt down us and Alphino because because he's so booty bothered over Alphino giving him the lip.
Yeah, because like the first time you actually meet Ranky when he's talking to the Exarch, Ranky goes to mention at the end, have you seen any artist assistant?
Yeah. Anyway, so what you find out is that Vor3 is trying to is using the Sin Eater in the male, in the people, to allow him to control everyone in Yulmor. So he's essentially turned everyone in Yulmor into mindless zombies. Even most of the people in Gate Town. Like, you go exploring the area around, and you bump into, like, people who are completely spaced out, going like, praise Vor3, praise Vor3. 2 of them even attack you.
Yep.
And how did that work out for you?
It obviously didn't work out for them. But, like, just to show you, like, how awful it is for the people being controlled, they have the same model as the Wretched's mummies in Sunken Temple Hard.
Oh yeah.
Like, they're like shambling around in agony.
Yep.
But like a lot of the people in Gate Town are... Oh yeah, this also leads to a horrible moment because Kai Shea comes back because we find out that he's been feeding the Crystallarium information about Yulmor because he's been skulking around the place. But he's there when he finds out what Maol is, and he's eaten some of it, and the look of abject horror on his face. He looks like he's going to be sick.
I don't think he actually ate some of it because when he was making earlier to Alphino, he said he did.
He did.
Yeah.
He didn't. He said he ate very little of it, which is why he's not being affected by water. But he did eat it, and this is also where we find out what happened. It's said about Yulmor that people go in, but no one ever comes out, and no one's ever taken away. We find out why.
Yeah.
Lord Vor3 finds the dissidents and the people who are disrupting his way of life, takes them to the very top of Yulmor, turns them into Sin Eaters, keep Talessa's agonizing, horrifying, nauseating transformation in mind, and then kills them and grinds their corpse up into mail.
Yep.
I think this is the point where we resolve the fucking murder of all.
That's the point.
I don't know. No, beforehand, it was just simply disgust and anger. Now, he needs to be destroyed for the health of everyone around it.
So we go into what's quite possibly one of the best single-player
solo instances.
Yeah.
No, essentially, we have to fight our way through Yulmor. Being slowed down by all of the people that Vor3 has mind controlled, which it also didn't quite work back for him because you know all those Yulmuran soldiers and just they didn't really fight us properly. They just kind of like tried to manhandle us. Vor3 clearly didn't think that one through.
No.
Then we also had to fight the clowns.
Oh yeah, we finally clowns. Fuck the clowns.
The red Meg and the blue Meg.
I put them where they belong in round.
And then sweet revenge.
Then we end up fighting Ranjit, and we finally. I'm not actually sure if he's dead or not.
He is.
It looked more like he went down on his knee and then like vanished, like what happens when you beat someone but don't kill them.
His final line was, "Now I can finally be with you girls." All the Minphilias that he trained and sent into battle to die over the last millennia.
Yep.
Yeah, that clearly didn't weigh well on his psyche.
No.
But anyway, we finally put him down, and we get into Lord Vor3's room in one of the weirdest,
grotesque.
Grotesque is the perfect word.
Yeah.
It's not just disgusting.
No.
It's wrong.
Like,
It is.
that is.
So anyway, when you get in there, all of the Sin Eaters are gone, and feathers are scattered around the room, and Alphino starts like. Giving his Alphino speech about how Lord Vor3 must pay for his crimes to be stopped, and he's ignoring you, and he's just eating. It's really disgusting as well. Like loud. He's smacking and slurping and chewing with his mouth. He's guzzling. And when Alphino's done, like Vor3 doesn't turn around. His head goes 180 degrees, and it's such a disturbing shock because like. Up to this point, Vor3 was big and he was fat, but he still looked like a person. Like we've met weird people with slightly unusual builds before.
The only thing,
some of the Heavens Wards, but like his head turns 180 degrees, and he starts giving this insane rant about how like me stop, but I'm perfection.
Yeah,
and like his head turns back and he continues eating the male, and like Shaw's like, stop it, stop him, no, and like grabs like one last nail and eats the thing whole, including the fucking fork eating it with. Like, out of everything in that scene, the thing that actually got to me was the crunching as he ate the fork.
Yep.
And he then like sprouts wings as he turns into a full-on Sin Eater.
a tiny little wings.
Oh yeah, hilariously tiny wings, by the way. Like, I didn't
flying out the castle.
Yeah, I didn't find it funny though because I was too busy being disgusted and appalled.
Okay, you have to find it funny though when you.
I found it funny in retrospect.
No, when the shook afterwards, everyone probably thought he landed.
Yeah, that was my first thought. Oh, he just landed.
Oh yeah. So anyway, he flies out in his tiny little wings, and everyone's like, "What's happening?" And you hear the ground shake, and then you find out Vor3 has lifted the largest mountain in Kalusia, Mount Gold, way into the air and given it a fucking halo.
Yep.
Like, how many levels of divine perfection are you on? Well, my mountain has a halo.
And then
one thing before we move on.
Yep.
You said that Voltri seemed as a normal human being. Do you remember his left tit was basically a senior face?
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, but the thing is, you don't get a proper view of that.
No.
It's called the scene where like it goes. It looks from the top, and then it's clearly a face. You're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Can you say you have that? Well, when he turned into that Cine of the Wings, that fucking screech of him paralyzed.
Everyone's like, what the hell was that sound? And it's like fucking. God, the sheer unnatural power that man held in his left moob. Do you know what I think the funniest part of that is? That's not even a joke.
I know, right?
No.
Everyone becomes unwashed or brainwashing.
This is where like the brainwashing ends. You clear it up, and this is where you find out that like this is also where like Cat Mom and the henpecked husband come back. Dali, did you find out what his name was?
Yes, I did, but I've lost it again.
Alright.
can't-
Chow Maz.
That's it, Shamaz and Dahlia.
Chow Nuz.
I'm just gonna call her Dahlia in this. Fuck it. They appear. Honestly though, after the like the Clifford before 3, I was actually like, oh dear God, please let her be okay. I don't want to have been killed. In
No,
the crossfire.
you have Alfredo giving
Honestly, given this expansion, I wouldn't have been surprised if they were killed in the Warmore.
But they were giving, as you said, they were giving a pretty prominent role after the events of Ilmore's liberation.
Yeah.
You can call it maybe.
Liberations. You know what? Considering what Vor 3 did, the absolutely unspeakable things he did, liberation seems perfectly apt.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Ilmorans. Honestly, you kind of got to find that the Ilmorans aren't terrible people. Like,
No.
Alphino shames them, rightfully so, because they weren't mind controlled when normally. Like, Vor 3 only took control of them at the very end. Every terrible thing they did was on their own choice, but at the same time, they weren't terrible people. They'd been fed into this sedentary, don't think about anything lifestyle by Vor's action. And the Ilmorans, I gotta give it to the Ilmorans, they take it on the chin.
They do. Because many of them are probably not born and raised in there, like, all things considered.
Well, they weren't. Like, for example, it comes out later, Chai Nuz, he's the heir to the Daedalus Stoneworks, the company that makes the Talos.
Yeah.
Where, then this all leads to a short series of fetch quests where you and the Ilmorans work together to gather materials and to repair the ladder, which is the giant elevator that takes you to the top half of Galuja. And then Shiners manages to patch the whole thing together with some... Sorry. So, it's been 6 hours.
Yeah, no worries, my dude. Go for it.
5 still. Anyway, this leads to the whole thing of you fixing the ladder with Shiners with some heartwarming inspiration from his wife.
Yep.
And then a couple scenes happen later, and I can't remember who exactly has the idea, but Chinas ends up with the plan to build a Talos large enough to grab the mountain and pull it down.
It was the idea of your Solar and Fat Cat.
Oh yeah, that was it. You stole Dahlia, and China's just goes, I can't possibly do that, and Dahlia just turns to him and like gives the most heartfelt, you can't? And China's just like, damn you, wife. Okay, I'll do it.
No, because literally Dahlia goes, why can't the fucking planet just come back down?
Oh yeah, why can't?
And then his Solar was like, we can't do that.
Come down to us.
Oh, we can't do that. Let's just lift the fucking Earth up.
Yes. Which leads to a whole series of fetch quests, which involves
the dwarves.
Actually, the most humorous solo instance, where you and the Chris. So essentially, you have to get the help of the dwarves to find enough magical ore to make a heart for a Talos that large. This is also a heartwarming scene, by the way, because basically everyone across the whole of Novrant comes together to help you build this Talos.
Yep.
And
from
Armorang to the Greatwood, even some people from Ilmeg come later.
Actually, let's bring that up quickly. Uriongli made a very funny comment saying, "Oh, we could enlist the help of the pixies, but how they work with their cookery, I don't think it would be a good idea."
Yeah, Uriongli specifically says that we shouldn't bring along the pigs.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Yes, no, fuck them."
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, this leads to you and the Crystal Exarch escorting this like completely incompetent fighter but genius minor dwarf across Kalusia to the other side, while you have to protect him from Sin Eaters, and that's great fun. The Crystal Exarch is an absolute bro.
Bloody hell, his power is immense.
He's a paladin and a white mage and a black. God,
Like-
I wish I could operate on that level.
Like, if you watch some of the cutscenes before this, he even mentions, like, the further away he is from the tower, the weaker he is. But he's
Yeah.
still fucking pulling this shit off.
Yeah, but what we
Yeah.
know is like too, he's from the 2.x storyline, so he's just using the cross-class skills, correct?
Okay.
Like, actually, to be fair, I think all of the abilities he was using were cross-class abilities.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, he did use some abilities that were added after the cross-class system was removed. Like,
okay.
But no. That was a good quest line. You learned about
that was
more
great.
about the dwarfs and the other
Also,
races.
the very end where you use the drip powder to knock out the dwarves was hilarious, because after you knock out the dwarves, the leader of the, I think they're called the Grogs, which are the sworn enemies of the dwarves who are helping you. the chieftain comes along and starts yelling at the dwarf you brought along, and they all start fighting each other. And the Crystal Exarch is just, I don't bloody have time for this. And he just hurls dream powder at the Grog
Yes.
chieftain and knocks him out.
But what did they argue over?
Beards.
Yep. Who had the better beard?
Fucking dwarfs!
That is like an old Mario 64 reference, if anyone knows that, about Big King Bob and Mario fucking arguing who has the better mustache.
Really?
Yes, in Mario 64 DS, that is a conversation, because Big Bull was like, you come from my power star, but my mustache is much stronger than yours, so I deserve the power star.
The references in this game are absolutely incredible.
Like, this is brilliant.
Essentially, once you bring that back, you guys all start to build the Talos, and it is the hypest shit.
Yeah.
I actually said on call what I said at the very start of this before we started recording the podcast. I haven't been this hyped since I killed the Pope in space.
Yeah.
Before the Talos, though, there is one scene between the Exarch and the Warrior of Light where they just sit down and have a nice conversation about things.
Yeah.
That is a really cute conversation.
And and they ask like,
was
"What do
so
you want to do
heartwarming.
after this?" And we're just like, "Yeah, we're probably gonna, go back to the source and kill more gods. What do you want to do?" "Oh, I want to follow
I
the
want to
adventure that inspired me," or something like that.
Yep.
Was
That was cute.
That was pretty touching. And I still didn't trust his fucking ass at that point.
But now we get to one of the most epic cutscenes.
Oh yeah, this thing just fucking rises itself out of the ground and grabs the mountain. This is like, Shadowbringers is honestly the first time that this game has truly felt like a Final Fantasy game, because it's got that weird it's finally got that weird mishmash of magic and technology and the sheer over-the-top nature of it. Like,
Yes.
we just built a giant Magitech robot to grab a mountain out of the sky.
And,
Where else could you find that kind of shit?
yeah, and during like the time it's ascending, you have all the Sin Eaters
Yeah,
rising up,
all of-
trying to
Oh, yeah,
break it.
all of the Sin Eaters start flying around it to play it, and we're treated to the single greatest moment involving Feo-ul, where as Titania, Feo-ul starts flying over with an army of like pixies and Amaro and other Fae, and she just starts ranting about like, how dare she? How dare my beautiful sapling not call on me in this moment of the final battle? I know I said that we Fae weren't interested in the affairs of man, but if she'd have just asked, I certainly would have come. And she's like, she's just like whining like a scorned girlfriend as she as she fights off a legion of Sin Eaters. This is why I like Feo-ul as a character.
Yes, that is her character development to a peak, right there.
Absolutely pick. Feo-ul is the GF that none of us deserve, but we will get anyway.
Oh god, please, I don't want his girlfriend, please.
Oh no.
It's true though.
Yes, but no.
Oh god, she better come back to the source with us. I'm gonna be upset if she doesn't. I don't care about you two. I want Feo-ul to come with us. Anyway, this leads on to the best. This would be the best if it wasn't for the twinning. the second best dungeon in this entire expansion.
Third in my opinion.
What was... whatever. This leads to one of the best dungeons in the entire fucking game. You can at least agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mount Gulk!
Right.
Like, literally, the first half of the dungeon is you running up the back of the Talos, while the second half is you breaking Vorthre's toys. While you two... Actually, this is probably a perfect opportunity for you two to discuss the dungeon. I need to go step away from this.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it. So...
That dungeon was amazing.
It was.
You have Cineas flying around the Talos, you killing them, and the Talos is breaking up the path just so you can get there.
Yeah, the only thing I would say about that dungeon, you need to switch out the colors of the fucking AoEs, because it's so fucking hard to see the orange with all the white and gold shit in there.
But the first boss was the Chimera, the dog lion thing we fought from City of Vandal hard.
Mm-hmm.
He had some immense AoE mechanics.
He did.
Which hurt.
Mm-hmm. A lot. But
then
we one-shot that fucker, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. And then you got to where the light started building up and a fucking demon wall of light appeared.
Do you mean the Rubik's Cube of fuck you?
No, the first demon wall we've hit.
Oh yeah!
You're running up the mountain, there's a gate of light and a demon wall just drops down.
Like, why the fuck not have a fucking light demon wall there?
So, you get through that, you go to the next area and you see this palace of gold and white light. Under the halo of the mountain.
It was.
And then you get to the second boss, which is the Rubik's Cube.
And it took us a couple of hits there, and then it was like, oh, it corresponds to the ground tiles, and his face is so bad.
I think we did that entire dungeon first guy.
Yeah, we did. We didn't wipe. No, wait. Did we wipe on this last boss? No, we got a lot of bone stacks, but we didn't wipe.
Then you go through the dungeon, all the pools of the cities, and you can hear Volfrey getting more agitated as fucking stomping his domain into pieces. And then the final boss is the thing that you see petting that lion the entire time Volfrey is around.
Oh yeah, the hot
Cinia.
Yeah, the hot Cinia, if you're into that stuff.
Volfrey blesses her to where her AoEs just become godlike.
Mm.
Like, you have to stand very specifically to, like, not get bitch slapped.
And it was pretty hard to see, as I said, but it was still an awesome fucking fight in all regards. Yes. Did we get any good gear from there? Nice looking gear? I can't remember.
That's defending armor.
Oh yeah, that's defending armor.
Do I still have it on me?
Go ahead and link it if you do.
I don't have access to a summoning bell right now. Give me a minute. I will quickly go grab it, link it to you.
Okay.
Because that fending chest feels amazing.
Yeah, it was. I do wish that, I need to go back and grind those dungeons and see some more of that gear.
Yeah, I can't on the full fending. All right,
Summon bell. Like, that dungeon was definitely a peak of endgame.
Oh, it was.
And it was a peak of endgame dungeons.
And like, as I mentioned before, and as I wanted to say a couple of times about these dungeons, we have asked a lot of times to get hard mode dungeons or heroic dungeons or whatever the equivalent of World of Warcraft would be. I don't really think we need it anymore, unless with the eye sync gets really skewed at some point. These dungeons are harder, at least, than what we usually got.
Yeah.
Like, the Armadillo boss, as we mentioned earlier, from the 75 dungeon, or the 77 dungeon. There was things dropping from the ceiling, like rocks, continuously. You had to move all the time, be on your toes. They expect more from us now, and I think they expect especially more from the tanks, because if you don't tank correctly now, your group is gonna pull aggro and die.
Yeah, the tanks definitely.
Sorry, I had to go get myself something to eat.
Yeah, understandable. I don't think anyone else planned this podcast to go for almost 6 hours.
Oh no, but like I said, I'm enjoying myself still.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Like,
this expansion is so good, I can't resist talking about it, and I'm so glad that I finally have a group of people to run it with. Sorry, to discuss it with.
Yeah.
And I have my friends who have finished the game, yeah, but like they're just. I'm not gonna get a discussion like this out of them.
No. Like,
Yeah, I really wish we could have got high quality Momo on the podcast, but his VoIP is getting blocked by the government
Sadly.
there, so meh.
It would have been great here because he would have had a fantastic view on like the actual setup of it. Because making games is his thing. He's got a very academic outlook on it.
Very.
that's good to hear.
I helped him through the Twining dungeon yesterday, and he just fucking came all over the place. Literally.
Yeah, that dungeon we'll get to that in a bit, but
We'll get to that. Do you know what the best part about that dungeon is? It's not just the ultimate fucking fan service dungeon. It actually explains a very important plot point too.
And like like I said, the Mako reactor like setting in there at the end. I was like, is this foreshadowing that we're actually getting the Final Fantasy VII raids in 6.0?
And go in SC Cat, there's the fending armor for that dungeon.
Okay, cool. And Björky just arrived to show us something too.
Hey.
He has the bow from the Twintania, and if we step outside, he actually has the goddamn mount too.
Oh, God, I want to see this.
Yeah, huh?
Did you guys manage to finish talking about Mount Gold, by the way?
Yeah.
Basically, at least, yeah.
If
you have anything
to... was the light.
Yeah. If you have anything to add on it, Variel, please go ahead. And here we go.
Sorry, I'm just...
Ooh.
Oh, I won.
Wow!
Oh, I won.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Oh, wow!
Holy crap.
Okay, apparently those are the primal mounts. I'm glad I was wrong. Those look incredible.
Yeah, they're like dino dragons.
I want one.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Fucking incredible.
They're definitely better than the dogs. Like, that's the first extreme primal on this. Here's the first extreme primal in Stormblood.
There's like the Seb read you on the effect at least.
Let me get. Hang on. Let me just get the Ravana.
I have the Ravana bird. Yeah. Do you have the Ifrit horse?
Oh yeah, of course I do. Just give me a second to actually turn my HUD back on. So I can get to it.
That fending armor is bloody amazing.
Let's see, Ifrit. That's cool effect. There it is.
Yeah, but no. The thing that I liked about Mount Golg is that it's just a fantastic combination of story and gameplay. Like, for example, hang on, you should be over here so it's in chronological.
Yeah, I know, but the framing was really weird.
You can go into G pose and then center it on either V or.
Ah, that's true.
Anyway, it's like one of the really nice touches is Vor3 yelling at you in the dungeon, but he actually makes the Sin Eaters more powerful when he starts yelling at you.
Yep. Like that last boss, making her more powerful with her more AoEs and everything.
But it actually didn't just make her stronger, it actually made the mechanics more complex.
Yeah. Like, she got another, like, 4-way laser and a extra few AoE circles, 2 main attacks, which was interesting. And then you finish that dungeon, everyone's with you, and more Sin Eaters come.
Yeah, so we finished the dungeon, and what you said, Shacon? Sorry, I was...
Everyone comes in, all the Scions, more Sin Eaters come, so the Sin Eaters leave it all to you to fight the fat Jabba the Hutt.
Mm-hmm.
Thus you head to Crown of the Immaculate.
And up in there, you get the second trial of the expansion, which... for me, wasn't the most pleasant experience the first time around, because I lagged to hell and back all the way to phase 1 and died like 3 times. But I went back and did it later, and it's pretty fucking cool. First phase is over, and the fat ass rolls over, and he evolves.
Starts splitting open like a.
What do you mean? He doesn't roll over, he just... Yeah! He gets ripped out.
Hey, it may not be as unpleasant for him as like Telesta's transformation was for her, but it's still just as repulsive.
Yeah.
Like these two massive, like almost insectoid blade-like claw points tear out from his back and start peeling him open.
Yep.
And then, like in a flash of blinding white light, he suddenly turns into this huge angelic figure with wings made of swords.
Like this perfect-looking being, like Cecil levels from Final Fantasy IV, beautiful and like just.
Thus, the birth of innocence.
And then we kick his fucking ass.
Yep.
Anyways.
That has interesting mechanics.
Yeah, Innocence is fantastic. His Innocence is an amazing.
Oh
yes. Definitely one of the best.
I think out of the 3 trials in Shadowbringers, I personally think the weakest of the 3. But as I said earlier, just because it's the worst doesn't mean it's bad. It's still absolutely incredible.
Oh yeah.
Was like I've always had a big thing for like that kind of aesthetic, like angelic perfection, the brass and the brightness and things like that. So this expansion's been like playtime for me.
It reminded me a lot of the High Heavens portion of Diablo 3, actually. Thinking back on it now.
Yeah.
I'm because honestly, I'm a big fan of Christian mythology. It's actually, honestly, if you actually start to look into it, it's just as interesting as any other mythology. A lot of people just like to dismiss it because, oh, that's the religion that boring people worship.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's fascinating, and so much of it's been brought out in this expansion. It's great.
So, you defeat Innocence.
And he's laying there, screaming about, I am a perfect god. I was supposed to be the one looking down on you, you fucking...
My father told me I was perfect.
Yeah. Should we just transition to that cutscene real quick?
I think... I can't remember if it was... No, it was earlier when it was brought up with you.
Can I just say, we've neglected him this entire time, but NXL, during this entire time since the first time I talked to him, has been dropping bombshell of lore after bombshell of lore.
Oh, fuck, we missed a really important part about the Ritaki Greatwoods.
The reason why we haven't been dropping these bombshells is because there's just so fucking many of them. Like, Emmett Selk is just dispensing lore bombs like candy.
Yeah, like the amount he dropped, especially after you meet after you still learn that dungeon and everything just goes to shit.
Yeah.
Like, for example, in the Raktika Greatwood, Emmett Selk actually explains what Heidelin and Zodiac are, and again, to call them primals doesn't really do the whole thing justice, but essentially the ancient civilization whose survivors would eventually become the Asians, they used all of their power to grant the star a life of its own so that it could defend itself from a terrible calamity that was destroying. Like, this calamity makes the calamities that have affected Eorzea look like child's play. Like, the world itself was just coming undone at the seams. And so they all worked together to create Zodiac. And then a group of ancients who were afraid of Zodiac's power decided to work together to create Heidelin. And Heidelin kicked the shit out of Zodiac so hard. She broke reality into the source in the 13 reflections. She literally punched Zodiac so hard reality broke into 14 pieces.
Well, I don't think she did that. I think it was more like, in order to actually seal away Zodiac for the conceivable future or aeons, he was broken up into parts on these 13 shards, and they tried to rejoin him to the source. No?
Heidelin broke into 13 pieces.
No, Eric Stout explained later that Heidelin was created with power to sever soul at this point. So if he was to touch Rin, he would split into 2 rings. With half the power, half the knowledge, half the strength.
Okay.
So Heidelin split Zodiac 14 times.
But the Zodiac was the physical manifestation of the star itself.
Yes.
Yeah, so she split the star into 13 parts, or 14.
14.
Yeah. And then
by,
we get
by
to
punching Zodiac so hard he broke into 14.
yeah, and then we get to the. This is a fucking bombshell off the bombshell. Like, dear God.
So,
Vorfree dead. Innocence is dead. We absorb him,
And we start, and this is where the light becomes too much for us.
and
yeah. The
lights
cup
kick out.
overfloweth, so to say.
Do you want to take this bit, Shacon?
Go for it.
I can do. So, light starts overflowing you, and you are getting destroyed and turned into a light warden. And you have the Crystal Exarch who is coming up and try to absorb the entire light so he can, supposedly, what he said, travel to different worlds. And he tried to play the bad guy in all this.
Well,
You have-
he tried to more like, I'm gonna absorb this light and go to another shard, probably the void, and just either do something
So-
there or just die.
You have
And-
all the other Scions trying to stop him, and Urionge, of course, being Urionge,
Knows what
stops
that's about.
everyone.
Oh.
And so what actually happens is the Exile's actually trying to give his life away to absorb the light and just let it flow in the eternal river of ether. Which was going well until Exarch comes behind him and shoots him in the back.
You're also missing the big important reveal.
And when he gets shot, the hood of the Exarch goes down, and it's who knows the name.
No, it was before.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was before the shot went off. It was when things
He
were
turns-
happening.
No, the thing is, he starts playing at the villain of how, I used you to steal the light so I could go
Yeah.
travel to other worlds because I was so bored of being trapped here. But then, the wind generated from all of this going on is so powerful it knocks.
I
him
thought it was
off.
when he got shot. 'Cause
No,
when he
it
got shot,
wasn't, it was
fine.
earlier.
No.
Oh, I thought when he got shot, because
And
when he
then,
got shot.
and
he
then
went
once the hood falls down, he drops the axe because you realize it's your boy Gratia,
Yes.
and
wait,
he can't bring himself to lie to you because he knows who you are, and he drops the axe and he says, "Fine, I'm going to take this light and I'm going to travel to the void, and there I'll die where the light will harmlessly draw."
yeah.
And then-
Excel being a
And
dick.
then Emmett Selk shoots him in the back to stop him from doing it.
Like, not even using his power, literally pulls out a fucking gun. And-
Yeah.
Like, the fuck, Eric? What's wrong with you? So, then Eric explains, like, okay, you guys, I gave you a chance to cooperate with us, but the only thing of that
So
contingency.
hard.
Huh?
Oh, we started talking about how he's disappointed on us.
Yeah.
He genuinely
only-
wanted to work with us, but we
Yeah,
disappointed.
the only contingency was that us, the Warrior of Light, could control the footlight of the fight of Light Wardens. That was the only contingency.
Because he thought that we were strong enough because we are, what I think, we're gonna get into this a bit more later, but I do believe that the Warrior of Light is some form of reincarnation from back on his time.
Yes.
Sort
Wait.
of.
We'll get back to that. Oh.
Mhm.
So, he's pissed, and he basically says, okay, when you are a Sin Eater, a Light Warden, this heartless monster, come find me in the Tempest. And during that, the echo kicks off, and you find out that MXL created Vorfree to be a half human, half Light Warden.
Yeah. Essentially, the idea is that light is stagnancy and the unchanging world. So the idea was for War3 to lull people into an idyllic paradise where they just do nothing and blaze about to encourage the light. Kind of like how you'd set fire on everything to encourage fire.
Yeah. And then Rin was able to sustain the light in you for now. And you are back independence in. And all the everlasting sun is back.
Because you're a light warden now.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
You actually
In all
brought
5
the sun.
areas.
You brought
You're
the
such a
everlasting.
strong light warden that the entire world is now covered in the light again. Not just the zone you're currently in, but the entire world, or the entire known world, rather.
I'm generally tearing up because this fucking game. This
But so,
expansion.
MXL,
I felt terrible. I felt
Yeah.
beaten.
I mean, I kind of saw it coming, but I also think that MXL, he wanted us to be strong enough to contain the light, but what the fuck was his plan if we managed to do so?
Like, I think it's to the point of, okay, I know I can work.
We can get onto that later.
Yeah.
We can get onto that later when we actually get
point.
into the final area, because we can actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, go ahead. If you remember what happened.
So, just as an aside, the first raids will come out 2 weeks after the regular release of Shadowbringers, not early access. Which
16th of July?
Yeah, 16th for normal and 30th for Savage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Savage raids will come out exactly 2 weeks after.
I should really have chat going for the live stream podcast recording, since people are actually talking a lot.
Yeah, but people are also discussing spoilers ahead of where we are now. And they're also discussing other things that Twitch doesn't particularly like.
Oh, yeah. Well, whatever.
Okay.
So,
I know for a fact that very, 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 very people like it when you encourage smoking on your medium. You're not
I don't encourage smoking.
You're not doing, but someone else in your chat is.
Still not illegal.
No.
Oh well, so
Twitch does have a very overwhelming very oppressive terms of stuff.
yeah, but smoking is okay from what I understand. So where were we?
We waking up and finding out the Everlasting Light's back.
Yeah.
And then we decide to basically go and kill an Asian. And we're gonna do it by ourselves.
We go for this whole depressing phase with like we're useless, we've done nothing, and it takes our favourite Fae and Arbon to clear us back up.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then we decide to go kill an Asian by.
We don't really even decide to kill the Asian. We decide to go meet him and save the crystal and kill. Beating the shit out of him would just have been a nice extra.
But
because essentially, this is where we find out that Emmett Selk. Sorry.
So
I barely eaten anything today, so I apologize for eating on the podcast. But I was starting to actually feel quite ill because I.
No worries. So
anyway, Emmett Selk has no idea how Exarch managed to travel between the worlds and then managed to bring you with your physical body over as well. Because that's the thing, the Scions, they're kind of like solid ghosts. They don't actually have their real bodies with them. They can physically interact with everything around them, but it makes a complication where it's very difficult to send them.
Yeah.
Whereas for you, it's as easy as taking an Aetherite back.
Isn't it like they're echoes of their own soul? The Scions?
Kind of, yeah. Well, no, their souls have been brought over, but their bodies are still back on the fur.
Yeah.
But anyway, Emmett Selk decides to kidnap the Crystal Exarch because he has no idea how the Crystal Exarch managed to do what he did, and he feels like what the Crystal Exarch knows would be extremely useful for his ominous Asian plan.
Yeah.
Which it, to be honest, would be. So, we tried to head to the Tempest to find out about Emmett itself. Problem is, the Tempest, crunch, 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 crunch.
It's located underwater.
Yep.
Yes, and
It's at the bottom of the ocean.
You ask the Captain Guard for help, and you go to the Amaro, get ready to go there, and Scions appear.
You get this big, heartwarming cutscene where basically everyone turns up and goes, "We know things are bad, but we're here for you. You're a real hero. You can do it." And I'm pretty sure I cried.
I did.
We also have Orionke apologize.
Yeah.
About that everything he done was a lie to make you do this stuff.
I know Oriente's like that, and I honestly couldn't stay mad at him because even if he does all the shady, weird shit, we know it's in our best interests.
Yeah.
Oriente has never actually ever done anything cause us harm or problems when he lies or holds. when he lies or holds secrets, it's because he has to.
The
I
Exarch.
I can't stay angry.
Yeah, the
Oriange.
Exarch told him to lie about a vision of the 8 Umbral Calamity, and lie about his true identity and everything. And
Uriange, that's in an echo cutscene, and Uriange was like emotionally distraught and holding his head, which was quite a shock because he's usually very calm and composed.
He even asked to take a minute to like take it all in and actually make a proper decision.
Yeah.
Because this was not something he just wanted to do at all, but he felt like, yes, I have to do this.
You could tell he doesn't like it.
But it wasn't a lie. It wasn't
He's always hated it.
Yeah, but it wasn't a lie about the 8 Umbral Calamity. It was gonna happen. It's just he didn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Crystal Exarch did.
Yes, because you find out in the source he's from the future. Of after when Black Lotus, the lovely gas that the Guardians are producing.
Black Lotus is the broke as shit.
Is it Black Lotus or Black Rose? Black Rose.
It's Black Rose. Black
Black
Lotus is the broke as shit Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah,
Black
essentially,
Rose.
the reason why Black Rose was so bad is that essentially Black Rose is a gas, which is not strictly a poison. Instead, what it does is it prevents aether from flowing around the body. So it just kind of shuts down all of your natural processes. So essentially, it kills by inflicting stasis on your body, causing it. Well, what is the light but a manifestation of stasis? So the light aether coming in from the first empowers Black Rose to such an incredible degree that it essentially destroys all civilization in Eorzea and beyond, and kills us and all of the other scions.
It also affected the land's aether, correct? In some way.
It drained the life out of the land.
But luckily, our boy Sid was still alive.
No, it wasn't Sid.
Yeah, it was.
No, it was Biggs the Third.
Yeah, Biggs
Was
the
it
Third.
Sid?
No,
Sid
no,
laid
it
the
wasn't Sid.
groundwork. Sid was alive and he started the project, but it took many a lifetime to complete.
Yeah, like it's not just Sid.
Yeah, but Ironworks done.
Yeah, it was the Ironworks.
Who learnt the Crystal Tower secrets, reawoken it, and found our lovely Exarch friend.
We can get more into that when we finally discuss the best dungeon in the game.
We all know which one that is.
But
so we need to go to the Tempest underwater, and there is nowhere to get there from flying or any means we know. So there is
we
this
can
weird.
breathe, but our friends can't.
Exactly, but there is this weird ass island, as I think some people might have noticed before out in Lakelands.
The Isle of Ken.
So we go there, and apparently it's Bismarck.
But like the original Bismarck, not the prime.
yeah,
And with some help from our ferry person, we...
you can tell we've lost all energy.
Yeah, no. With some help from our ferry person, she convinces Bismarck to take us there. And
in exchange for Uriange brushing his teeth.
Yeah.
How the fuck is that even? No, let's not go into that.
No,
So-
there's actually a moment later on where you find Uriange and talk to him, and he's basically trying to research a way to figure out how he can actually stay underwater long enough to brush Bismarck's teeth.
Why don't you just
Quite
ask the
funny.
warrior of Busywork to do it? Come on, we can breathe underwater.
No, because it's Uriange has to brush Bismarck's teeth.
Oh, it's the deal that was made.
It's that fey nonsense. Because if Uriange gets us to brush Bismarck's teeth, that's not Uriange doing it. So all that means is Bismarck owes us. But you can't. But according to fey law, you can't just transfer a debt onto someone else like you can in human society. You have to pay it back.
Right. So, Bismarck takes us to the last zone of the expansion, the Tempest,
Yes.
where
Which It's the bed of the sea. We also scare the shit out of the people at the Yormoran.
Yeah, and like I had another Gandalf moment there. Tsunami's coming. Fly, you fools!
Oh yeah, they ran. They ran.
They started running after a while, at least, when they realized, oh, it's coming to. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's time to move.
Let's try not to deal with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Tempest is a really cool area because essentially Bismarck created this massive air bubble on the seabed, so it's not actually an underwater area. You walk around, so you're running around on the
Thank
seabed.
God.
It's so cool and strange, like all of the other areas, to be honest. But now the Tempest is fantastic, and we end up finding the Ondo, who we mentioned earlier,
I need to take
who
a
are
quick
the
pee break.
Shacon of the First, and
Like, we just do a bunch of
Essentially-
fake quests for them, right?
yeah, well, essentially we have to do fetch quests to get on their good side because we did kind of take their water away and cause lots and lots of problems for them
Yeah.
because we needed their help.
Yep.
It's not as bad as just a string of fetch quests, and thankfully it's pretty fast.
Actually, it does have one of the most annoying quests in the entire world for me.
What?
You have to follow that painting to find a certain area on the map.
Oh, I actually enjoyed that.
I spent a good 10 minutes until I gave up and said, "Oh, you just tell me where it
The
is."
thing is, I figured out what the thing was really quickly, but so I just had to circle around it to find the viewpoint. But yeah, we end up finding out that essentially the Ondo live in ruins that they found while fleeing the flood because their original home was destroyed by the flood of light. So we end up finding out that the ruins that they are in are actually Asian ruins left behind from the original world. I think he stole his explanation was any of those ruins source would have been obliterated a long time ago because of the many calamities that it caused. But here on the First, they've remained relatively undisturbed, so they've managed to survive. But
Yeah.
so this leads to the Ondo eventually leading us to what is known as what they call, was it the Illuminated Land?
City of the
No,
Ancients?
we didn't. Nope, we didn't get that yet. We had to go speak to Geralt Clone.
What?
Oh yeah, Geralt clone.
Oh,
Geralt Clone.
yeah.
We,
Oh god.
we get into a whole new topic of role quests.
Yeah, I was just about to say this is the particular point where you need to do a role quest to progress from here. Oh yeah, by the way, the actual explanation, I got to this point before I finished my role quest, and the actual explanation given to the game is so much more shit than the actual reason. Essentially, when you complete your role quest, you get behind so the role quests consist of you hunting Sin Eaters, but these are special Sin Eaters left behind by what little is left of the rest of the Warriors of Darkness. Like the caster role quest has you hunting down the Black Mage Nielba as the Sin Eater Phronesis. When you finally beat them, you get a crystal left behind by that Sin Eater, which is supposed to be like the crystallized essence of the Warrior of Darkness that caused that Sin Eater to become a thing, and you hand that over to Geralt, which is like the final crafting material he needs for the thing he's working on.
And those crystals are also the 5 crystals we collect in 2.x.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were.
They are.
But it's such a shit explanation. The actual reason, if you haven't completed that, is shit. It's something along the lines of Geralt needs a tragic, heart-moving story to serve as inspiration for his work.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
that's not it. That's not what it. That's not even the reason why. That's
I like to, after that, when you give the crystal over, you hearing us like, "Did you just give my friend away?"
pretty much.
No.
Yeah.
Did you just trade in this fucking unpriceable artifact from whoever knows where for some gear?
No, and a lamp.
Who fucking cares? We go through priceless artifacts like aetherite.
Yeah, true.
So you get your class gear relative to your class.
Yeah.
And you also get a lamp for the Ondo.
Yeah. Which is required for like a religious ritual that they need
Yeah.
to do before they can take you to the illuminated land.
Yep. And then they explained that they found this area, and they take you there. Which...
They ran in fear, and when you get there, you find out why they ran in fear. I kind of feel like Angel. I kind of feel like we should actually go there and take the cast there.
Yeah.
Our words are not going to do the scale of the thing justice.
The thing is, I just want to say, like, the first time I saw this, the vista, so to say, when we reached it, it was like, Square Enix, this better not just be a fucking backdrop. This
But
better not. It better not be another Alamigo situation, and it wasn't. I was legit so thrown away.
Like, I don't think we can do this place justice by saying about it.
No.
Like, this place is incredible. Essentially, what this place is this place is an Asian city.
The main Asian city.
Yeah, this is the original capital of essentially the Asian Empire, at least the people before they came Asians. This entire place is actually a ruin, but it's covered by a glamour put in place by Emmett Selk.
No, it's not a glamour, it's a reconstruction, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, so, to be honest, it's one and the same thing. Emmett Selk is so powerful, his glamours are physical. So, it's both. But it's like, this entire place is incredible. And I love the Art Deco style of it as well. Because the fact that they've decorated it with a contemporary style makes the place almost feel more real as we've been in the game.
It gives the sign of like the old Asian world or their society, what I call it, like it was on the fuck, I can't go where I wanted. Oh well, I'll stay up here then. It was like so technologically advanced, and just seeing it all, we got blown away or whatever happened to it. Like we still don't actually know what the calamity was.
This is the point where we all start to sympathize with Emmett Selk, because when this place is called Amaroth,
Yes.
and this place was paradise on Earth. It actually was paradise on Earth. It's not just Emmett Selk's rose-tinted goggles from the days of yore. The people here lived in peace and prosperity. They were so immensely magically powerful they could just create whatever they needed out of the ether. No one wanted for anything. No one fought. This place was impossibly advanced. And you really realize that if this place was as incredible as it is, it's no wonder the Asians would move heaven and hell to try and bring it back.
Yeah.
At least not for the people in charge, because if you listen to some of the lore, it was a weird society in many ways. Creativity was encouraged, but it was also individualism was not encouraged.
Well, no, it's not necessarily that individuality was discouraged. It's more the fact that giving towards the community was encouraged. Its selfishness was discouraged, and individuality was encouraged, because you need to be an individual to stand out and to create the new and the interesting and the different. But needless individuality that does nothing but take and divide was what was discouraged. Which, I mean, I guess that could sound a bit suspect to some of the more individualistic listeners of our podcast. But moral questions aside, this place really was paradise. Everyone had everything. And the people who lived here could essentially had godlike power over their surroundings. They could just create whatever they wanted. Even children. But there's people left all over this city.
The one thing that stuck out a lot...
They're not real people. They're like recreations created by Emmett Selk. And again, this entire city was created by Emmett Selk. this would just be ruins if it wasn't for the recreation that he put over it.
Yeah,
Husk,
because
like, built out husk.
the earlier parts of the zone had like original parts of the city, as you mentioned, the ruins.
Yeah, you also see later on after you, let's just say after you complete the main story quest. But no, you really start to sympathize with Selk.
You do.
I
on
still
some
don't,
levels.
I don't agree with it because he's on account of the fact that his entire plan is predicated upon endless genocide.
Yeah, the ends never justify the means was something I said a lot of time when I reached this zone, and MSLs were talking about a lot of this stuff. But one thing that stuck out a lot to me with the lore I got out from talking to the NPCs here, there apparently was still, their world wasn't whole. Like, there was still a country across the sea that was inflicted by the calamity before.
Yeah.
Or first, and they were debating to help them or leave them to solve it themselves. So a utopia, yes, but not a world-spanning utopia. Still, like, divides were there in that society too.
It was more a fact that they didn't want to impose. So essentially, the consideration was they didn't want to impose their way of life on the other people because that's what helping would have required. Since they didn't want to like swoop in, save the day, and then make everyone be like them. They respected other people's right to self-determination and their own choices, but at the same time, they considered it important that they help because the calamity was destroying the very earth itself.
Yeah, the very star itself. So we reach this city and we get basically a cluster bomb of lore bombs dropped on us.
Yeah.
It just keeps going and going and going.
It goes insane when you start talking to these spectre-like creatures.
Like every single spectre here gives you some important piece of information. Even the background dressing sometimes mentions things that are important in some way or another. Like, I don't even think it's worth us just going through everything that happens because so much happens here.
Well, unless we want like another 10 hours on it.
Yeah, like in the space of about 5 hours, we get more world building out of Heavensward and Stormblood combined.
Oh yeah. Because Stormblood and Heavensward just gave us questions. Here we finally got answers.
Well, they gave us. The thing is, they gave us important information, but it was bits and pieces. The entire point of this recreation of Amarok this was made by M itself, so we could find the truth. This is literally the man that saw it all and was there for everything, telling us everything.
One thing I do want to mention, though, that was brought up a couple of times by the NPCs, was the Rule Council of 14. And there was apparently one person missing in the final days, as they said, before the calamity of this council, because they were down to 13 members.
Yeah.
Who was this 14th member? Was it us, the person that started the cult of Hydalim?
And there was like one of the NPCs in one of the cutscenes mentioned the fact that your soul is like similar to the one of a certain Ascian that MXL hold dear.
Yeah. And MXL wanted to work with us, he wanted to have us around for some reason, and he called us the rejoining of 7 or something like that, after the 7 calamities.
I do think though there is one thing that Emmett Selk said quite a while further in the game, which I think really just shows the disparity between the Ascians and everything that's left on the source. Where Ishtola was chiding him, he said something along the lines of, yes, moral relativism. Well, I do not consider you alive, therefore I will not be guilty of murder if I kill you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, you are not fully alive.
We are so far behind and below them. We're not even really alive. Like, let's put this way. When you're in Amarok, all of the NPCs talk to you as if you're like a toddler wandering around the city.
No.
But even then, they still are
Respectful?
surprised at how weak you are. So basically, the Warrior of Light, one of the most powerful creatures in all of the Source and the Reflections, is less than a toddler. these.
To these beads, yeah.
Yes.
Like
Let's
they keep referencing, "Where's your parents? Do you want me to walk you home?"
Yeah, Emmett Selk, with very little effort, built this entire city, which Angel's has been graciously showing you guys.
Yeah.
Single-handedly magicked this entire city out of his own personal ether as well. Anyway, we're gonna kind of gloss over the actual contents of the city, but where do we even start?
Yeah, where do you even start at this point?
Like
Because-
the main thing that you learn for the main story is that how Arbert's and your soul color is basically the same, and how you should.
Yes.
On.
Arbet is kind of like another piece of us because it's as said, Heidelin scattered pieces of everything that existed before all across the source, and Emmett Selk said we were 7 times rejoined, and then Ardbert was another piece, so we have 9 of our 14 pieces now at least, but even then. I'm a very talkative person, as anyone in this podcast, anyone who's watched this podcast for more than 3 minutes can tell, but I'm really struggling.
It's hard because you want to go into one thing, but that'll lead into like another 20-minute conversation.
Let's probably just skip over. Long story short, shitloads of lore. You
experience it yourself.
Yeah, experience it yourself. But the most important part is that we eventually come up to. We eventually reach Emmett Selk himself, and this is where Emmett Selk finally loses it.
Yes.
And his calm just breaks.
Yes.
And he starts talking about how we're nothing. We are pathetic, wretched imitations of everything he sees everything from the world before. And he was disgusted with what he saw after the worlds were split, and how. What was it? How our tattered souls are nothing compared to the people he's trying to bring back. This is also where we find out that then they're not just planning on destroying all of the shards to rejoin them into a world, they're also planning on killing everyone in the source as a sacrifice to Zodiac to bring back the Ascians. So if the Ascians' plan goes through, they'll kill everything. And honestly, given what we've seen in Amarok, this is a society which valued creativity and freedom and life. The highest honor in their society is to create. So I honestly think the Ascians would be absolutely appalled to find out what Emmett Selk is doing.
Yeah, again, the ends does not justify the means, and the world were coming to an end from this calamity that wasn't really explained. That's still my biggest question, what caused the calamity?
The other thing that we also find out, actually, which is another extremely important thing, is Heidelin did not destroy the Ascian. But even before Heidelin was created, 3/4 of them had died, because half of them sacrificed themselves to create Zodiac, and then half of the remaining sacrificed themselves to repair the laws of reality, life back to the world. So even before Heidelin was created, or the Ascian civilization was gone. The thing is, if you listen to Emmett Selk describe it throughout the story, you get this picture of a perfect world that was destroyed by a subversive cult, and it makes you extremely agreeable and sympathetic to the Ascian idea. But Emmett Selk is missing one very important thing: that the world was dead. His people were gone already.
And they're... Yeah?
He went mental.
He got angry at us.
Honestly...
And then this leads on to the final dungeon of the main story quest, Amarot, which...
My personal favourite one.
Oh, yeah.
I can completely understand why you'd say that. I've described a few things as this game is hell, or all they are, but Amarot is actual hell. It looks like a scene out of Dante's Inferno.
Oh yeah.
People fleeing for their lives, unspeakable monsters that make Void Sense seem cuddly.
And even before that, the cutscene when MXL went insane, he's invited you to walk into oblivion, and he literally walked into the gates of hell.
Oh yeah, like the dungeon of Amarot is hidden behind huge doors because, as you can see from Angel's thing, the doors in
The capital building?
Amarot itself is huge. Even for the Amarotian, who are about 4 times taller than I am, and about double the height of the tallest possible Rogadin or Mayala, the city is still massive. And so he like snaps his fingers and these giant brass doors open, and behind it is a wall of flame that you can't see past, and he says something along those like, I invite you to oblivion, and just turns around and vanishes into a wall of flame. I was like, geez, you want the Satan symbolism to get any heavier?
So,
Genuine hell.
I mentioned earlier how I talk about a certain dungeon with the entire tanking thing. With Warrior as a personal experience, and I had a Scholar healer, the Scholar didn't have to heal me most of the time. I could keep myself alive almost 100% of the time. This dungeon kicked my health bar into pieces. I went from 120k to almost 0.
This dungeon is brutal and absolutely pulls no punches. Like there are mobs which there are mobs which automatically tether to DPS. They cannot be pulled away from that one specific DPS. And they will just apply a constant stacking fire vulnerability up, and they will kill you.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like the first boss, which is a hell spawn.
The bosses in this place are horrific. Like, this game, even long before Shadowbringers came out, has a gift for making disturbing things to look at. Like, unpleasant, unnatural creatures, as Isla is littered with them. The Chimera is a good example. Chimera, that's an unpleasant looking creature. Amarot makes everything else pale in comparison.
That first boss alone, like, I don't, like, with the whole Asio can spawn anything, it's like an Asio tried to think of a nice big puppy and just thought something horrible and everything went to shit.
Well, let's put it this way: the Ascian, the reason why the Calamity was such a problem, is because it essentially meant that like the Ascian's creation magic was just going off and things were just spawning around them.
Yep.
So these horrible nightmares were spawning from people's deepest fears. Imagine what the deepest fear of an eternal being with incredible knowledge would actually be. Just to hammer home how nightmarish this dungeon is, though, one of the mechanics in the first boss is you need to dodge the rubble of the collapsing buildings around you, and at one point you need to run all the way across the arena to the very edge, because just a whole wall of a building is collapsing and slamming down onto the...
Not to mention meteors are falling, and you even have the ecliptic meteor for the Behemoth's fight.
Yeah. The second boss is even
An ad
worse.
phase hell.
Yeah, essentially, we see this giant boss, and then he disappears for 8/10 of the fight. You are absolutely drenched in a deluge of ads, like 15, 20 at a time. It will break the tank if they're not careful.
Yes, it is not a fun thing to tank. And before we get to the third area,
no, that's not even the worst part of the second boss. The worst part of the second boss is how it tries to kill you. Once you've killed all of the ads, the creature starts to like bloat and swell from within, and it explodes in a shower of gore and fire. Yes. And you can't. The way that you essentially finish the fight is not by killing the boss before it explodes, but by forcing the boss to explode early so it doesn't wipe you.
Yes, and before we get to the final area, like on the sidebar, the duty is literally say, endure the first doom, walk the second doom.
Endure the all of the location names sound like passages out of Revelations.
Yeah.
Revelation from the Bible. It really shows the world ending, and
you go through a etheric flow in the second boss, and
hang on, I'm gonna send Angel a picture, and hopefully he can put it up on stream.
Will do.
I've already sent it to you. It was that picture that I sent you that I decided to make your background. Essentially, the third part of Amarot is in space, looking down over the world, and you have to jump from like space debris to space debris while fighting off the absolute worst things that Emmett Selk could muster. There we go. You look out over the entire world in flame, basically. Really is something else.
Meteors are even dropping down.
And the final boss is called the Chthonic Terror, and Jesus, does it live up to that name?
Oh yeah.
It's also
God.
difficult.
Yes.
It is one of the most difficult fights of any dungeon in this game. Essentially, the entire arena is a straight... It's also one of the only dungeon bosses in the entire game than in Raid. The entire arena is a straight line with these little, like, outcroppings on either side, and after a certain point, time has passed in the fight, this creature will do an apocalyptic ray down the center of the arena, which will kill you if it hits you.
Yes.
It will vaporize you even if you're a tank, even if you're invuln, you are gone.
It's damage over time, and it's bloody
it
gone.
Will boil you.
Yeah.
And so you need to hide on the side, and then after it does that, it will jump forwards, and the arena behind it catches fire. So you need to kill it before it gets all the way to the other end of the arena. And let me tell you, that is a tight fight.
You can also fall off the entire platform.
That too.
Which, that dungeon is literally set something up, because the harder dungeons to come later on in the pack is the boss fights for Eden and the Extreme Trials.
They've really got something to say about Amarot. The only reason why Amarot is not my favorite dungeon in the entire game is because of the insane degree of fan service in the twinning.
I still prefer Amarot.
Amarot is incredible. It is difficult. It is challenging. It is an absolute visual spectacle.
That it is.
Yes.
Holy shit.
It is deeply horrifying as well.
Jeez. Yeah.
And after we're done with that dungeon.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Then the final trial. Emmett Selk himself is trying to kill you.
You also
We're
have
over the best part.
You have the light corrupting you once again.
Yep. No, the best part is the lead up to this fight, which can best be described as pure distilled, please hook it straight up to my fucking vein.
Yeah.
Essentially, as the light overwhelms you, Albert appears from nowhere to essentially lend you his strength so you can carry on for one last fight. And then the Crystal Exarch stands up from behind Emmett Selk after he proceeds to borderline slaughter the Scions, and uses the last of his power to summon forth 7 other heroes from beyond the rift. Which is also the explanation as to how you have 7 other people helping you in the trial.
Yeah, it's not just your 7 adventurer friends or 7 randoms. It's actually the heroes from the other shards.
Yeah, these are it's the Crystal Exarch, Grahatia, my lad, summoning the greatest heroes he can.
And then begins the fight.
Oh, hell yeah. Also, meanwhile, during the lead up and also during the first half of the fight, the Shadowbringers main theme is playing.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, that theme beats the absolute pants off of Revolutions and Dragon Song.
Yeah, but not Answers.
No, I actually think I like it more than Answers.
Okay.
That's in my opinion. It is one hell of a theme. And then of course we lead to Hades, which is the mechanical excellence of Shinryu and then some, combined with the story excellence of Thordan and then some.
It's mental, that fight. Like
the design on Hades is incredible. Again, like absolutely nothing we say can do this fight justice.
No.
But it really is. That is how you end an expansion. Holy shit. If that's what we got at the end of 4.0, what the hell are we going to be... Sorry, 5.0. What the hell are we going to be seeing in the future? What are we going to be getting for Eden?
We can only speculate and with wishful fucking gleaming eyes wait,
it's
honestly.
Like Emmett Selk appears as Hades, Lord of the Dead, and proceeds to kick the shit out of your party.
Oh yeah, Science were patently useless. They got their asses handed.
Oh, he kicked the shit out of the Scions before he even became Hades.
Yeah, like literally,
Like I said, like,
fucking.
this way. Emmett Selk is a being that created an entire city on a whim, and you are fighting him to the death. It's about as incredible as it sounds. Like, halfway through the fight, during his big phase transition,
Oh my god.
he starts calling on, like, all the souls and the memories of the Asians past, and he becomes this, like, huge, looming figure covered in masks. Because you know how all the Asians have their own masks?
Exactly.
That boss kicks your ass.
God,
And
that
back.
fight. It also leads to the best big damn heroes at the end of the fight, where the fight is so intense that the light, which previously was destroying your body from the inside out, it was so overwhelming, you instead have to channel it just to stand a chance against Emmett Selk.
And at the end of the fight, when all is said and done, we have our Scion friend back.
Yes, and we also get a view of Amarot without the glamours of Emmett Selk, and the entire place is a ruin.
Like, honestly, we can't do justification on how great it is. Experience it for
It's
yourself.
absolutely fantastic. Just do it. Go fucking watch it, play it, whatever. It's amazing.
Go wait for New Game Plus and do it again.
Yeah. I don't throw around this word willy-nilly, but perfection almost comes to mind. You know?
No, I could definitely see that. There's no, it doesn't lag behind. It doesn't draw out. It's an incredible visual spectacle. Like I said, like, again, I'm lost for words. I'm basically just repeating the same generic platitudes over and over, because what the hell else can I say? They really outdid themselves.
And we haven't even got to your favorite dungeon.
Yes. So, that's essentially the end of the main story quest. After that, we get an absolutely heartwarming scene with Grahatia. Which, I mean, it made Grahatia cry, it made me cry.
Made me cry.
Made me cry.
Well, it made me all teary-eyed, I didn't cry.
You cried.
I didn't cry. I wish I cried.
I cried.
I wish I cried, because when I get all teary-eyed, my eyes just start itching. It was so heartwarming, it made me uncomfortably itchy.
The story was immense in this expansion.
Oh no, it absolutely knocked itself out of the park. Friendship ended with Heaven's Wards. Shadowbringers is now the best expansion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hands
Definitely.
down.
People aren't even going to argue with that.
I can't.
The-
You
the-
can't.
This is honestly, I do not remember the last time I enjoyed a story this much. I can compare this, I don't even need to compare this to other MMOs. I can compare this to the likes of single player stories. Like, this obviously this is like the one that everyone jumps to, but I enjoyed the story of this more than I enjoyed the story of The Witcher 3.
Fuck yeah.
And yeah, I know liking The Witcher 3 is a bit of a basic bitch opinion, but there's a reason why everyone likes it.
as a person that hold Metal Gear Solid as the pinnacle of video game storytelling up until now, disregarding Venom at least, I would say that this is now better.
Jesus. They completely and utterly knocked it out of the park on this expansion in every regard. Like, you can, like, I guess there's some issues with one or two of the classes, and obviously the hotfix coming, there's some number adjustments that are badly needed from the incoming hotfix, but that's just like minor little quibbles on an expansion which is otherwise flawless. Just everything from top music, art design, level design, the areas outside, the character writing, the plot itself,
dungeons, trials,
The thing is,
mechanics.
including the role quest. The story of this expansion was only actually about 20 quests shorter than 4.0. But there's no filler.
No.
Yeah.
So, obviously, it doesn't go full pace all the way through because A, how the hell could you sustain that? And B, that wouldn't really be enjoyable. You need some time to take things in.
Yeah.
But even at the absolute slowest pace in this expansion, like, I would say probably
It was
the slowest part of this expansion was probably trying to repair the Talos in Twine. But even then, that was still a engaging, heartwarming story, which not only introduced a cast of new characters that I cared for, but also gave us insight into several of the Scions, not least of all Thancred. So even at the most fillery that this expansion gets, it's still top-tier writing.
Yes.
The thing is, like, even if they don't manage to keep up this level of quality for the next patches, I still won't mind, because you could fall so far and still be excellent.
Yeah.
Like, they've really raised the bar high for the expansion. And Eden is only a thing that...
And I cannot wait for Eden!
Like, it's probably... It's just gonna fucking... I think it's gonna kick her ass after seeing the dungeons.
Also, do you want to know? It's gonna absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Like the thing is, Shadowbringers is clearly a step towards making the game more difficult. So, I can't wait for the return of Pepsi Man.
No, yeah.
I don't think it'll ever be quite that bad. I don't think it'll be quite that bad. But
No, because
I expect Eden to come at us with a bat to the teeth.
Yeah, but as you said, it won't be as bad as Pepsi Man, because if this expansion has actually shown us anything, is that Square Enix has fucking learned a lot.
Yeah, that's actually... You can see from this that Shadowbringers is essentially Square Enix has learned all of their lessons.
Yes.
I can see so many things taken from Stormblood and from Heavensward and even from ARR and put into this. For example, the instance design is Stormblood. It's to a higher degree of quality, but it's basically Stormblood again, at least in regards to solo instant.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. You know what you can essentially say is that Heavensward was them trying to strike out and do something incredible and different. And we got a lot of fantastic stuff from that, like the story and the raids and the world. But we also got a lot of shit from that. Like class design was clunky, crafting and gathering went down the crapper.
Oh yeah.
There were a lot of weird issues with various classes. There was a lot of crap that was cluttering class toolkits. Meanwhile, Stormblood was the exact opposite of it. They didn't try anything new, which obviously led to a lot of boredom and staleness, especially considering how structured this game's content release schedule. But they perfected everything that they did. Like, Stormblood is bread and butter, but it is the highest quality bread and the highest quality butter. And so they've taken that mechanical perfection from Stormblood and that innovation from Heavensward, and we've got this, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
This is going to sound really dumb and cheesy, but I've literally been so enjoying this so much, it's actually improved my mental state.
Wow.
Shadowbringers cured my depression.
I honestly think Eden's gonna kick our fucking heads in.
I cannot wait.
Especially Savage.
Because the thing is as well is that once part of the reason why the story of Alexander and Omega wasn't as good as Coil's is because they didn't want them to be related to the main story. But Eden is going to be related to the main story.
Yep.
We saw that in
Because-
the
yes.
very last scene we got after the credits.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, we got after credit scenes for Alexander and Omega 2. But it's more the fact that the devs have said it themselves as well.
But you saw that last scene with Tancred and Ryan.
Yes, I did. Standing out in
Yes.
the empty.
Yeah, that's Eden.
It is.
That is going to be fucking fun.
Mm-hmm. So it is
Also, I
tied
wonder
into the
if-
main
I
story
wo-
in some way, hopefully. Go on.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to get more fights in Eden than we did with the previous
We'll
expansion.
probably get 12.
I wouldn't mind if we get 12, to be honest. I genuinely don't mind Square Enix's structured content release,
No.
because it means that I know what I'm getting, and there's something nice about that.
Yep.
But it also allows them to focus on quantity over quality. Sorry, wrong way around. Quality over quantity.
Yes.
Because the thing is, again, like, I remember like, for example, a game with the exact opposite attitude to raids would probably be WoW. And I remember discussing WoW raiding with a friend of mine, and this isn't to shit on WoW. I don't care enough about WoW to do that anyway. But I remember them discussing their views on the raids between the games, and that they remember every single fight from every single raid fight from this game.
Pretty much, yeah.
But there are so many raids back in WoW that they don't remember, that either they've completely forgotten or they just like only remember the name of it.
Wow. As you said, quality over quantity, it will always trump, I think, in the end.
I mean, it's not like we don't get much at all.
No, four
It's
four
not
to
like
8
we're
quality fights.
It's not like we're starved for quantity either.
Yeah. Like, we know what's coming up in the near future. It's gonna be mental. Like, we're gonna have...
In the
Huh?
near future?
Yes!
Speaking of which, actually, that reminds me of two things from the trailer that I wanted to quickly discuss. First of all is, remember when the trailer showed us what would later turn out to be the second half of Mount Gulg, Crown of the Immaculate,
Yeah,
and everyone thought, based on its design,
it was
that
Eden.
it was near because it looked like the
Oh.
copied city.
Yeah.
To be honest, it does look like the copied city. I said that when I first got into there with all those white cubes by the Demon War, Void Sin Eater War, whatever.
Yeah.
But the other thing that made me laugh was how in the trailer when Urianger calls Ishtola Master Matoya,
Yeah.
and everyone went hog wild with crazy conspiracy theories about like Matoya controlling Ishtola's body or something like that. Then it just turned out that it's just because of a quirk of the Knights Blessed's belief system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a throwaway line in a trailer can set up speculation, but that's also it's just speculation, and it is maybe just a throwaway line.
Part of the absolutely wild and insane speculation, though, was kind of justified, considering how ridiculously starved for details we were in the run-up to Shadowbringers.
But we have.
Do you get the feeling that part of the reason why they were trying to hide information is because after Stormblood they were just so nervous about the community's reaction to Shadowbringers?
Probably.
Maybe.
Well, no, because it kind of. Do you know what it kind of reminds me of? Is does everyone here remember Doom 2016?
Yes.
Extremely violent death metal, the game.
Yes.
Bethesda showed absolutely no information prior to release, except for that fucking disastrous multiplayer beta.
Oh.
They gave us absolutely no information on it whatsoever, and then it turned out to be the second coming of Jesus Christ.
It was a
Still
good
play
game.
that.
But
Can't wait for Eternal. But anyway, I feel like something kind of similar happened with Shadowbringers, because I think after a lot of the problems with Stormblood as well, the community was starting to really shit on the team. Like, I would like anytime anyone began to discuss Yoshi P and the guys and their work schedule, everyone would just start like treating them like morons and making the same stupid, tired indie dev meme. So I could completely understand why they would be nervous about the reception to Shadowbringers. Hopefully, at least now with the launch of Shadowbringers, I no longer have to hear the phrase "small indie company."
I'm gonna stop saying that at least, because I am legit really fucking impressed. As someone who's played this game since 2.2, 2.3, whenever I actually hit max cap.
Also, Angel, you should totally come to Kalusia with me.
Okay.
Because it's nighttime here, and the view of the Talos holding onto Mount Gulg is incredible. Because it's glowing in the dark.
Ooh, cool.
And then it's also being lit by the light from the halo.
I want to see that.
I guess we have well, it really says something about the expansion that basically the last part of our podcast is us saying absolutely nothing at all, because how do you do justice to what we saw?
Yeah.
Hello?
How about?
I think the only thing we do is continue with the last two dungeons.
The last two expansions. The last two expansions are Twinning and how was it pronounced again? The Academia Anida. Should probably do the Academia Anida first,
Yes.
because out of the two dungeons, it's the worst. Which doesn't mean it's bad.
No.
I liked it. I loved the
Final boss?
No, I just loved the aesthetic of it all. Like how when you get there, the music actually starts, like sounds like it's playing from an old, like a 1950s crappy radio.
Yes. Oh my god, that was amazing.
The dungeon is peak aesthetic.
Bosses were, yeah, good.
Actually, no, the bosses were really interesting. At least the first one and the last
final
one.
Yeah, the second one was.
The second one was basically just stripped down Cassie. Actually, no, it was Plant Shulain.
Also,
That's-
F that
so like-
first boss.
Sorry?
Those two fishes were so annoying.
No, but I did really like the fact that it was a proper tag team boss fight.
Yeah.
It's been so long since we got one of those.
Yes.
They weren't super hard to figure out. It was more like, what the fuck is happening?
Why do we have 3 Volt stacks?
I remember, sorry. I remember, tank friend who we were running it with kept on getting caught out by, the, big conal AoE for one. And like, once you learn those guys, it's not that difficult, but for a dungeon boss, it's super dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I wouldn't... Maybe the number of mechanics would need to be higher, but in terms of, like, quality...
I wasn't expecting there to be honest.
Yeah, in terms of the actual quality of it, it felt more like a normal raid, or a man raid, like a 24-man raid.
Alliance, yeah.
boss. It's
Then,
great.
second
we got,
boss
boss was basically
spam tentacle slam, spam puke.
yes, I mean, it wasn't a bad boss, but it really doesn't live up to the Shadowbringers standard.
No.
As for the third boss, though, the third boss was awesome.
Like, the reveal. I was like, wait,
like-
is that Quetzalcoatlus from Final Fantasy fucking 8? Guardian Force, Quetzalcoatlus. Even named it a Guardian Force.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like,
Wow.
it's like, I'm fighting a lightning god. Rapture. It's like, come on, giant Art Deco themed 1950s city under the ocean. Am I the only person who thought of Rapture?
I actually didn't make the connection until you said it, because I never
Yeah.
played a Bioshock, but yeah, you're correct. Very correct.
Not that I'm complaining. It's not a Rapture clone, but still.
No.
Ooh, gives me good. Bioshock is hardly a bad.
No. But I think
But the quest with Water fight was super fun.
Yeah.
And dynamic. Especially the attack where she like throws you across the arena and you have
Yeah.
to run through the orbs before they cover the entire arena.
thank God for gap closers.
Something. Page. By the way, I actually found out what those orbs do because I got caught on.
Give
my
you
notes.
damage up.
No, the big
Oh.
ones. The
Oh,
cracked
they
ones.
rip your health off.
Yeah, they tick for 20k damage.
Yeah.
Like,
They rip.
Have you seen the video of O'Neal eating?
A what?
Shaquille O'Neal eating hot wings?
Yes.
I made the exact same face he made when I got hit by that. I was like, ooh, that's spicy.
Yeah. That hurt.
Actually, that did remind me of a thing that happened like when I ran Mount Gould for the second time. You know the line attack that the first boss has,
Yep.
Luminum Infinitum, where it like draws a laser on the ground and explodes it.
Yep.
I managed to stand so close to the edge of the AoE that I was actually in the visual flash, and I didn't take any damage. And it was amazing because everyone else in my party just turned to me and went, "What?" And as a black mage, I live for that shit. This expansion has certainly given me plenty of moments to exert huge black mage flexing energy. Especially double xenoglossy, and it really goes so far. So it really goes so far to showing how much enmity for tanks has changed. When my opener can be xenoglossy, fire 3, triple cast, fire 4, and I don't even come close to pulling aggro on the tank.
Yeah.
Then the next boss, the next
Dungeon.
next dungeon is the twinning,
Like,
which
before you begin, I'm just gonna say this now because I'm not gonna get it later. There is a shit ton of Final Fantasy enemies.
sorry,
There's a Final Fantasy 13 enemies.
yeah, like I
The
can't remember what it
The first boss?
the zag things. Yeah,
first boss and the second boss were both Final Fantasy 13.
are they?
Yep.
Alright. Anyway,
That's my piece.
the entire dungeon was absolutely incredible though. Like even the trash felt great. Like it's not fair calling it trash because there's actual mechanics to
Yeah.
it.
They
Like for
hurt.
example, there is a trash pool immediately before the first boss, which has a version of the boss from the second turn of the final coil. You know, the giant 3-headed robot dragon,
Oh yeah.
and it has an insanely massive nerve gas cleave.
Oh yeah, that's done that.
I have not been hit by it. I have absolutely no idea.
It
does.
hurts.
But I remember how bad that boss was when I did it unsynced, and that boss was still a gargantuan pain.
It hurt a lot.
And
Yeah.
then after that, when we're talking about mobs right now,
Yeah.
you notice the oh fuck, my head is not working anymore.
Berserk mobs.
Yeah, the berserk mobs, and I was just like, oh, sleep.
Berserk reptoids. It's like, Valdesine Arsenal chat. Valdesine Arsenal trauma flashbacks.
Sleep.
No, I also loved the mechanic, the first boss, where there's like smaller versions of the first boss along the sides of the arena, and you need to make sure that the AoEs don't hit those pods, or they'll shatter, and the enemies inside will break free and be adds, and those things are nasty.
Yes.
I love that mechanic. I hope they bring
Yeah.
that back in more instances further on, because that was a brilliant way to teach people how to properly, stack things to the sides but not hit shit with it.
Yeah, like we had one time, the last time I ran it, we had a dingbat healer who wasn't able to, just didn't get it, and they very nearly wiped us because you know when the boss has an attack where he'll start pouncing on everyone and does big circular AoE, they managed to break 2 pods at once with that AoE.
We definitely had 2 pods broken at once, haven't we, Angel?
Sorry?
We definitely had 2 pods breaking at once, haven't we? When we
Oh,
did
yeah.
it the first time.
We have
That
a lot
dungeon-
of pods the first time. I think 3 or 4.
That dungeon that first boss hit so hard though.
Yes.
Like, the first time I ran that dungeon, we wiped because the healer ran out of MP because he blew all of his mana, keeping everyone alive.
Damn.
Yep. we wiped that second pull before the second boss so many times.
Because we pulled
was,
everything.
Yeah, I pulled everything because he'd asked me to, and I was like, okay, fuck it, let's do it. And then it hurt. I've never seen Warrior's health drop so fast.
It's just like, welcome to Shadowbringers dungeons, boy. Get the fuck out of my twinning.
We also made the first dungeon static speedrun, you know? Highlights.
Well, the first run we had at that dungeon was not a speed run, but we can get to that when we get to the third boss.
Yeah. Anyway, the second boss is great because I love how rapidly the mechanics stack up with each other, but it doesn't feel like bullshit because they stack up with each other pretty well.
I've killed 2 people with that mechanics. I've killed my healer and I've killed it.
I've yet to kill him.
Just be a tank and you will kill
someone. I've yet. Sadly, my paladin is not quite at that level.
Sadly, but that is a fun boss. And then.
Let me see. Then you go into the main. Like, my friend Cav loves making comparisons between this and 7.
Yep.
Because he's pretty sure that livestream operates in this the same way it does in 7. Which, I mean, he's not necessarily wrong. We don't have enough information to say either way. But I personally think there's enough information to say that how the live stream behaves in this, it's not the same as it behaves in 7.
Not entirely, no, but
no,
there's similarities.
But we went down there and he began nerding out.
Yeah.
Like
Says Angel.
Yes.
It looks amazing though. It's like, well, this is what I expect the foundations of a building that travels through time and space to sound like. Grahatia's funky fresh TARDIS.
And you get the lovely donut mobs.
Oh god, those.
Venn diagram it through.
Do you know what my favorite part of that is, actually? They basically have the same name as the weird Ironworks kettle that Tataru has that they bring along in raids.
I did not know that.
It's called the Boil Buster instead of the Boil Master, but it's still mostly the same.
And then
so then there's the final boss, which I'm pretty sure I felt my soul leave my body when I saw that.
Yeah.
Giant Ironworks Alexander. Also, the actual arena that you fight it in too, where it has like images of the Omega Scape, the Alexander, and the Crystal Tower around the edge.
Yeah.
Which, this dungeon isn't just blind fan service either. It actually goes to show how they managed to get the Crystal Tower to the first. Essentially, what they did is they used information that you brought back from Alexander and Omega to upgrade the Crystal Tower. They used information from Alexander to figure out how to travel through time, and Omega to figure out how to travel through the rift. Which is also why Emmett Selk had no idea how the Crystal Tower did it, because Alexander was a primal summoned long after Emmett Selk was busy with other things, and Omega isn't even from this star. I guess Final Fantasy XIV Deep Lore, for anyone that doesn't really know, the Source and the 13 Reflections are all one star, air quotes. But when we say star, it doesn't mean like a sun, it's more like a solar system. Omega and the dragons came from a completely different star, so they were outside the Ascians' knowledge. That's how they managed to get the Crystal Tower onto the first and 100 years into the past.
Yeah.
A little bit too far into the past.
Yeah, didn't they go too far?
Yeah, they did. They went way too far.
But it actually proved it worthwhile, so they can actually build up the energy.
The Crystarium.
To summon you.
And, boy, the final boss there is incredible.
It hurts. It hurts a lot. If
it
fuck
absolutely
up any mechanic,
By the way, the time, I love the time stop lasers, and at the first you're like, oh, that's just a gimmick. But then, like, the different forms of lasers start stacking up along with the AoEs. Like, do you know what happens, by the way, if you walk through a time stop laser?
Yes, all too well.
Temporal paradox. The thing explodes, dealing 40k damage to everyone, and giving them all a vuln stack. I almost wiped a group by accident.
I'm pretty sure Angel wiped the group with Lucid's jump.
Yes, I did. But the first time we reached that boss Variel, we have a funny story about that.
Oh god.
We was like, me and Shacon was like, oh hell, the music, and our hero's like, oh, I have audio issues. Let me restart the game real quick. And I was like, okay, wait, it's like 8 p.m. And he was like, what? Oh, 600 in queue. So our other DPS left, and I played dead on the ground, and like 30 minutes later, he came back.
We waited 30 minutes instead of redoing the entire dungeon. We waited 30 minutes or kicking the healer.
Oh god. Well, you're good people.
Yeah, we can say that much.
We also did it for another person. That was.
But no, that final fight is incredible. Like the way the mechanics stack up as well is great. Like for example, on my most recent run through the twinning, I stayed between 2 different time-stopped lasers on the edge of the arena because I was in like a little safe triangle between the 2 of them because Black Mage, and I was like, okay, I'm good here. I'll be safe. And then like literally 3 seconds later, I see another time-stop laser from the Tycoon's cross beam that he puts out from himself, and the AOE gets stuck on my head, and I was like, I'm not safe. I barely managed to scrape through it because I threw up Mana Ward just before it went off. I'm sorry, but Mana Ward is the greatest survivability tool in this game. No other ability has saved my ass half as much as Mana Ward. Like, I'm sorry, but throwing up a 30% shield on yourself for free.
30%?
Yeah, it's 30%.
Wow, that's fucking awesome.
It's really, really good, and it's incredible that Black Mage of all things has it.
Well, it is Yoshi P's class, main class. Notice I didn't call him Yoshi Pee this time.
Angels. See, Shadowbringers is so good, it's done the impossible. It's made Angel behave like an adult for once.
I actually, for the first time in about... since Final Fantasy 12, I have respect for this company again.
Hey. I mean, to be fair, you've also just had to have given them some respect for relaunching 14 at great cost to themselves.
Yeah.
Instead of just throwing up their hands, cutting and going fuck the customer.
Well, if they did that, they would probably have gone under, and 15 would never have made it to store shelves.
They wouldn't have gone under, but it definitely would have really hurt. Maybe even have killed Final Fantasy 14 for the foreseeable future. No, it's one thing I definitely have to give props to this MMO and the dev team behind it is they have some of the most player-friendly practices of any dev team I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Like they are open and communicative, and they listen to the players, and they deliver a quality product without nickel and diming people. And I know a lot of people like to raise eyebrows at the Mog Station, but the thing with the Mog Station is that really everything there really is optional, and a lot of the stuff there is only still exists because of the Mog Station. For example, you know the fiery dinner plate mount that came out a while ago.
Yep.
The Segway with the flaming wheel.
Oh yeah.
That literally would never have made it to the West if it wasn't for the Mog Station. They couldn't put it in the regular because it was made by the Chinese dev team. So because of various laws, both in China and outside of China, they wouldn't have been able to put it in the game. So they had to put it up on the Mog Station.
Huh. Interesting.
And,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was also the same with a couple of other items that came over from the dev team, and there was also a couple of items from the Korean team. And these were items that the community had been asking for a while as well, at least the parts of the community that knew about them. So even the most like suspect thing that the dev team does is still being used for the benefit of the player. Like, I'm not sucking their dick. They make mistakes. They do stupid things, and they're all obviously fallible people. But as far as dev teams go, I don't know of another team that cares for their community as much.
No, and as you say, everyone makes mistakes because we're fucking human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I had one more idea before we sign off today. Do we wanna group up and queue up for fucking Hades?
Sure.
Yes.
I'm absolutely up for
Fuck. Yes.
I'm gonna send you all some party invites. Or maybe you can make a party so I don't have to show my friends list on stream.